And next with us in the studio, Alison Lynch, who's standing in middle. One of the most interesting, I think, areas. It was said to me by a politician, we see some credible women coming forward, and it's nice to see more women. Do you not think as well?
I don't actually think there's much difference now, Paul, to be honest. I think, women are as credible as any, male candidates.
Well, it's good to hear you say that, because sometimes we hear the opposite, there's not enough women coming forward, that sort of
Maybe
thing.
years ago that was the case, but times have moved on, haven't they? So
Perfect. Positive. So let's hear it. What's your main things you're hearing and what you're telling them on the doorstep in middle, first of all?
Okay, I mean, it would be easy for me to reel off economy, healthcare, which, etc., which are absolutely very important. But to be honest, what I'm hearing on the doorstep is very much what other candidates are being asked and told that needs sorting out. Potholes.
It's interesting. Middle hasn't got any more than anywhere else, I'm sure, but it does keep coming up.
Well, yeah, and obviously there's just roadworks all over the Isle of Man now, and if they come and fix the roads properly, doing a proper job, great. But it's when they just patch them, it's not cost effective.
You're very rural, of course, middle, isn't it?
Yeah, very rural. Yeah, huge area. 2,362 houses,
but spread over
a huge area.
So what else is going on locally? The housing, we're going to hear about that, no doubt.
Yeah, housing, affordable housing for both young and old people alike. Education. I've spoken to a few of the young people in middle.
What's the education bit then?
Well, the education bit, for example, I've one constituent who is at University College Isle of Man, and she will be doing teacher training, and then once she has graduated, she then has to go to the UK to do a year's work experience. Why? Why can't she do that work experience on the island? I mean, we've got a couple of concerns for me behind that, is that the cost involved for her and her family of her going away to study, to do her work experience. And then that we're also running the risk that she won't come back to the Isle of Man.
So, more jobs for the younger people, more reason to come back. All that.
Yeah,
is it part of your thing?
Yes, it is, and affordable housing, obviously, for the young people.
Right.
Something seriously needs to be done about the affordable housing situation. Maybe, I've been thinking and doing a lot of research into it. Maybe we could even look at the first-time buyer scheme that the government currently have. Maybe just needs tweaking. Perhaps if a first-time buyer wants to sell, they then can only sell to another first-time buyer. It keeps it then as a first-time buyer property.
I think it's more tweaking though, because if it's that simple, we would all be hearing about it, wouldn't we?
I know, but it could be that that's not been thought of, or it has been thought of, but there is a valid reason why that can't be done. But that's what the next administration need to find out.
So what made you put yourself forward then? I mean, was it because you're frustration with the current government?
I think really, as you know, I've been 10 years on the local authority in Moraun. I've been chairman on a number of occasions.
So that's given you some grounding, you think?
Absolutely, definitely. It's given me incredible grounding, and I would say that anybody who has never considered going into politics, whether it be local or national, please do it.
So do you almost think it's a better option to actually have that? Because a lot of people are literally just jumping straight to MHK, aren't they? They're bypassing local politics.
I don't think I could have done that, to be honest. I have learned an awful lot through local politijust
how to get on with other people and how things don't move too quickly sometimes.
Frustrations, Paul. Yes. Absolutely frustrations. Just frustrations through the local government, even communicating with national government. Communication needs to be tidied up. Absolutely.
What's your skill set? What would you bring to government? Where would you be?
I'm a very strong character. I don't suffer fools gladly. I'm a hard worker, and I can promise anybody that should I be lucky enough to be elected, that one thing I can promise is that I will work hard for the constituents and for the island.
I mean, you have a job at the minute, but what would happen there?
My employers are being very, very good to me and have promised me that they will keep the door open for me.
You'll be full-time if you...
I am working right up to the election day.
Yeah.
Or up to the lunchtime before.
But full-time you'll be...
Full-time MHK.
So your skill set is what you just said there. So where would you see yourself in government? Or would you work in government, or would you want to be a backbencher?
I would like to see myself in a department, whether it's ministerial or not, I don't know.
Oh, you'd be happy to be made a minister straight away?
Probably not.
Oh, okay. So you're not saying no to it?
I wouldn't say no, but if they see that my skill set is strong enough, I certainly wouldn't turn anything down.
And if the chief was to ask you where you wanted to go, what would be your reply on that one?
I have... Very passionate for me is planning. I have very many frustrations with the planning.
What would you do? What would you change?
I think what shouldn't have been introduced was the interested party status. I think that's put a lot of people unable to object to...
By removing these groups that were automatically allowed to have some input. And
also I would like the planning department and government overall really to listen more to the local authorities. They know their areas, they know what's best. A planning application that a local authority would maybe reject, the government...
Which no doubt's happened in your time.
Absolutely. The government will approve it for no valid reason. And then ones that we approve, they reject. And it's understanding it more. And,
But what's your thought on planning? I mean, are you for progressive stuff, or do you want to slap orders on all the old buildings? I mean, how do you see it?
No, I would like to see development of the brownfield sites. And I think that is also what I'm hearing a lot on doorsteps also. Stop developing our green fields. And I'm not just saying that because I live in Crosby. We have brownfield sites out in the countryside, all over the island. The footprint is there. Let's redevelop, those places. In Douglas, we've got, plenty of empty buildings. We've got sites that are cleared down already by the government, for example, a prison, Park Road School. They're ideal sites for futuristic development, carbon neutral. The government need to lead by example.
How did you rate this government? Because there's 2 seats in the middle coming up, isn't there?
2 seats, yeah.
Did they do a good job in your view? I mean, were you following them over the hills with the lockdown and COVID situation?
Yes, I mean, I will say that I think that the Isle of Man government looked after the Isle of Man residents very well. I'm glad that I was on the Isle of Man working, locked down at home, which I didn't enjoy. But I'm glad I was on the Isle of Man rather than in the UK. I felt a lot safer here than I would have done in the UK. And in
agreement with the opening up and where we are now?
Maybe we opened up a little bit too early, but literally a couple of weeks too early, that is all. But these are unprecedented times, aren't they? Nobody knew. 5 years ago, our politicians didn't go into government thinking, oh, well, in 2020 we'll have COVID.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that was going to happen. And I think they did... our MHKs and our civil servants did deal with that very well.
Someone's got to be the Chief Minister, the new one. And
impossible to answer, Paul.
Come on.
Impossible to answer.
What, you must have a short list, maybe?
No, ask me on the 24th whether I'm elected or not.
Yeah.
I will answer that question for you. Because we don't know who's going to get in, do we?
But do you not have somebody you have your eye on, or a couple of people? Just the sort of. I'm trying to get people. I think like to know where you're going. Maybe.
I think it's somebody who needs to be very wise, strong, and having had to have maybe been to the University of Life.
That's covering your bases. I like it.
I know.
Okay.
It's impossible to say.
Finally, with the future of 2010 and all the tax things and funding everything, what's your views? Are we in for a bumpy ride, do you think? You're the person to be able to cost these things out?
I think we're in a situation where we can recover. I think we just need to be careful. We need to support local businesses. A lot of people are have opened up staycation businesses on the island, which is bringing income into the Isle of Man, and great. And
Okay.
I take my hat off to these people.
I meant 0-10, by the way.
0-10.
Yeah,
If
not
we
20.
if we have to go with it,
Losing that status of
we
15.
need to just take it slowly. We need to walk and not run.